make a little video kind of recapping what we talked about yesterday because I understand that some of us were a little confused. And what I just played was just harmony, notes working together. Anytime you have at least two notes, that's harmony. So this is harmony, and this is harmony. It can be nice sounding or not nice sounding. And so, like I said yesterday, consonance is whenever the notes sound pleasant together, okay? So some consonant sounds would be like this, or this, even this. And then dissonance is kind of nasty, ugly, mean sounds. Like this, like this, like this. And it's important to mix up. It is important to mix up consonants, nice sounds, and dissonance, mean sounds. Because if not, it's just boring. Like consonants sounded better. It sounded better, but let me just make it consonant only. It would just sound like this. Pretty boring, like Mary Had a Little Lamb type of boring vibes. But dissonance only, it doesn't sound too good either. Let me try to make a song just. Not exactly the music I'd want to listen to. But when you mix them together, you can get some really special stuff. For example, let me show you an interval that sounds really, really bad. Those two notes together do not sound good. They're very dissonant, right? That is dissonance. It's a dissonant interval. But if I put it in a context, maybe, let's see here, like this. I'll do it here. But anyway, if I have something like that, you heard at the end, I played it, and then I made it better, made it more consonant, I resolved it. And that tension is really important in music. Without it, it's really boring. Let me do one more where I mix consonants and dissonance. This time I'm going to have this interval. Pretty ugly, pretty dissonant for sure. But let me put it in a context. If you heard at the end, I played mixed in with the rest. So that right there is ugly, but then I made it better. So it is important to mix up consonants and dissonance. It makes the music more interesting and less boring, and also not just sound like complete mess. Now, that's consonants and dissonance, super important, super cool when you have those working together really, really well. But let's talk about intervals again. So remember, intervals are the distance between two notes. So some intervals might be just this close together. Some intervals might be this far apart. And some might be right next to each other. But we talked about how to name them. And the reason we learn this, remember, is because it gives us a sound. Like that first thing that I played, the very first thing in this video, I used a lot of fifths. So if you were listening to me play and we were making a song together, you could say, I liked those fifths down there. Keep playing those fifths. So one thing is it gives us kind of a toolbox of sounds that we can pull out, and we can say, I want to put fifths here. I want to put a few sixths. I want some dissonance here. That's the reason we learn these things, is because it can kind of give us a toolbox, and also it can help us communicate about music. That way we're not saying, dude, do that one thing. It was so rad. It was so sick. But we don't know what we're talking about. Instead, we can say, play those fifths. They sounded really good. Let's do that. So it gives us a language that we have in common to where we can communicate about music. So in order to get that, let's review naming these distances between notes. So intervals are the distance between two notes. So I have this just to make it very clear that we're talking about the distance between two notes that are happening at the same time. They have to be happening at the same time to be harmony. So if I do this, there is an interval there, but it's not a harmonic interval. It's not harmony. They're not happening in harmony. But if I do this, it is harmony. They're happening at the same time. So it's distance between notes. So let's say this is our lowest note right here. Hope you can see that one. I think you can. So if this is our lowest one, if I have just this much length, it's pretty small. If I have this much length to this note, that's a little bit bigger, and you can have big intervals too. But we're talking about the distance, how far between the notes. You can have short ones, long ones, and the way you name them is the lowest note counts as number one, and then you just count up to the other note that you're playing with it. So if I played this, let's go back to this lowest note. This is my lowest note, it counts as number one. This one would be a second. These two notes together, the distance between them, which is really, really short, is a second. Right beside each other is a second. Then if you take another note this way and play those two together, that would be a third from this one. The next note would be a fourth, because 1, 2, 3, 4 together. The next one would be a fifth and a sixth. So don't forget to count the lowest note as number one, and then you count up. So this counts as 1, this would be 2, this would be 3, this would be 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so let me give us one practice, then I'll have you do some questions on your own on that sheet that is printed off for you. Okay, so I'm going to start on the same note, and we're going to go up to here. So I'm going to count the lowest one. This is harmony. These intervals are working. These notes are working together. They're making an interval. The distance between them, it's kind of a medium interval. Not too big, not too small. But this one here is the lowest note. It counts as number one. So this would be a second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth. So this is a sixth. Now notice if you just counted it normal, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, then you would accidentally call it a fifth. But don't forget to count this lowest one as number one. So it's a sixth. Let's do one more practice. This is right here. Okay, same starting note right here. This would be 1. This one's 2, 3, but I played here 4th. This one's a 4th. Okay, now let's do 3 questions. This is question 1. Okay, question 1 on your paper sheet. Okay, number 1. All right, I'm going to start on the same note, and I'm going to add this one with it. So don't forget to count this one as number 1, and then count up to the other one, and tell me what that interval is called on your paper sheet. Okay, this is interval number 1. And you can pause the video or rewind it to go back to number 1 if I'm moving on too fast. This is interval number 2 on your sheet. I want you to answer this on your piece of paper. Oh, come on. Whoops. Okay. Interval number 2, starting on the same note. Let's go up to here. So a little bit bigger interval, a bigger distance between these two, more space. If you were a tiny ant walking across it, you'd have to walk further to get to that other note. So the distance between them is bigger. It's a bigger interval. But what is it called? Don't forget to count this one as number 1. And then what number do you get to when you get to this higher one? What is this interval called? Intervals are like the Legos of harmony. They're like the little tiny building blocks. Today we're going to add more notes to them. But tell me what this interval is called. Okay, and last one. This one I'm going to start on a different note, but it works exactly the same way. So this one I'm going to start here, and I'm going to go here. This interval right here. Don't forget that this counts as number 1. It's the lowest note now. So what is this interval called? Count this as number 1, and then count up to this one. All right. All right, I'll see you guys soon.